Okay, so some of you may not know, but I am the founder of Person StorySlams, and people are always saying to me, "Oh, storytelling, you started this organization, you must be really a great storyteller." And I said, well, actually, I've never told a story in front of our crowd, so this is going to be my first. I usually look for I'm actually undecided about which one I should tell, so I'm just going to launch into the second one. My husband's a composer, and we were in Alaska, and he was going to be doing a lot of work with the band that he was going to be writing for, and that gave me a lot of opportunities to do stuff on my own. And so before we went, I outfitted a backpack, and I read a little bit about Alaska, and they said that you should bring along a bell if you're going to be doing any hiking, because the best way to make sure that you don't encounter a bear, or if there's a bear nearby, they'll hear you, because the bell will be ringing, it'll be on your backpack. So I bought this little bell, and I hung it on my backpack, and whenever we'd go out hiking or whatever, I put the bell on, and it was tiny, so it wasn't really, like a banging bell, but it was a little bit of a jingle, and that would presumably scare away or notify the bears that we were on our way. So one particular day, he was working with this violinist, and I decided that I was going to go to the Mendenhall Glacier, where we had been the previous day, but I noticed that there was a really beautiful little nature trail, and I thought it was, you could go right from the parking lot into this glacial nature trail. I thought that would be a cool place to go, and I, could go on my own. So I put on my backpack with my bell, and off I went. And I walked in, several hundred feet, I guess, and got into some beautiful nature and a stream. And I walked over to the stream, there's a little footbridge over it, and there were salmon, leaping in this stream. I'd never seen salmon running. That's what they call them, but they're really jumping. And so I stopped, I got on the footbridge, and I'm standing on the footbridge, and I'm looking to see, there's actually one salmon that had jumped all the way out of the water and was lying on the ground next to me. And I'm leaning over, looking in the stream, and I hear this. So odd, I've never seen salmon run before. It's so funny that they would make that noise. So I'm down a little bit closer, and I'm listening, and I'm leaning over this footbridge, and there's still. And suddenly, fear grips my heart, and I go, that is not a salmon. That isn't even a flock of salmon. A lot of salmon. And I turn to my right, and there standing, probably as far as from here to the camera, is Mother Bear and two cubs on their hind legs. I know from reading before that encountering a bear is not a great thing, but encountering a bear with cubs is even worse. But I had learned also that what you should do is, first of all, don't freak out and don't scream or make any kind of fast movements, but you should just quietly and slowly back out. Don't turn your back on them, because I guess you never know what they're going to do. So when they tell you in those books, I guess they think maybe you're in a large gymnasium or something, because backing out of the woods, the winding path that you've been on, isn't that easy. So I backed out of the path as best I could, and I was very lucky. She didn't attack me, and I got out okay. It's always been a pretty good story to tell. So years later, started First Person Arts. A few years into the organization, we decided that we were going to start doing these StorySlams. We get to the first StorySlam, and we brought a timer to use to indicate that 4 minutes, the whole business, 5 minutes, etc. And it didn't work. I think it had been the timer off my refrigerator, the battery wasn't working or something. And so 6 in Bainbridge is very close to my house. I ran home, I said, I'll find something at home. And I'm dashing through the house, and what did I find? So it was my first bear, and it was my first story slam, and my first story. Maybe my last.